What is going on YouTube? Hayden back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we will be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as Digibyte to Bitcoin, as popular demand said in the comments from yesterday's poll. Otherwise, let's jump into today's episode. As always, if you guys are new to today's episode or new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up if you want to see more content like this. Otherwise, the holidays are coming up, and if you guys did want to purchase some Crypto TV merch, this is what it looks like. It's pretty cool all around. I do like it. It's really good quality. There's a link in the description below if you wanted to pick some of this up, but I do love it and it will help support your channel, and you can help promote the brand and the and cryptocurrency. But otherwise, let's jump into today's episode. Like I said, so we're going to be looking at the technical analysis, looking at the potential bounce off of crypto right now, and are we going to see some higher levels, form, or are we going to continue to head lower? That is the big question. So I do want to pull up quickly an article that I do have, and we're going to get into that, and it's going to be a little bit interesting. We're going to be talking about Sweden and where money is going in that place, and will crypto take over the altcoin, or sorry, the fiat money, and the use of cash within the United States, America, and in other countries. So we're looking at the coin market cap right now, and as you guys can see, we have 121 bill, 24-hour volume 16.7, Bitcoin dominance of 53.2. So Bitcoin dominance is actually decreasing. We're seeing the volume decrease, and we're seeing the market cap kind of move ever so slightly up. And if we scroll down to the top 10 coins, you can see majority of them do seem to be down, but very slightly. We do seem to be in a consolidative move right now. We're kind of, as we saw the massive dip, you can see right here, we had a massive dip, we bounced, and now we're just, consolidating, trading sideways, and kind of hitting a flat point right now. You guys can notice that out of the top 10 coins, there's a little bit of difference that I'm noticing on these coins actually. So something did change over compared to yesterday. So you can see out of the I guess we had the fork. You can see Bitcoin SV is actually trading right now as number 9. So it bumped out a coin. Monero. It bumped out Monero out of the top 10. So Bitcoin SV is now in circulation at $97, down 7%, but you can see it was moving up quite dramatically. Litecoin still below $30, but barely down 1%. Bitcoin down 2% and at 3,700. But that's very interesting to see that Bitcoin SV is now up there quite a bit. We're seeing a lot of new tokens on the exchanges, a lot of the updated logos too, which is quite nice. Apologize for whatever this is not loading in, but we do seem to be having some nice movement. Now, I did want to show you guys this article really quick. It says, next big crypto market, cash is rapidly disappearing in Sweden. So it's a very interesting market. I did want to discuss that. It says half of Sweden's retailers predict that the country will stop accepting cash by the end of 2025. The New York Times reported. I don't know that name. I'm not going to pronounce it. The central bank of the country is already testing a digital currency called e-krona. Could the declining usage of cash in Sweden lead to a potent market for crypto? Obviously, if we see other countries starting to implement this into their culture and their government, we may follow that, and also crypto as a whole may rise in general. It says, when you are where we are, it would be wrong to sit back with your arms crossed doing nothing and then just take note of the fact that cash has disappeared. You can't turn back time, but you do have to find a way to deal with the change. The country and its government are well aware that cash is disappearing from society, and the trend is irreversible. The inefficiency of cash has led for a majority of businesses and individuals in the region to switch to digital alternatives. And then as I scroll down, it says the declining usage of cash in Japan and South Korea has naturally translated to an increase in demand for decentralized cryptos like Bitcoin and Ethereum. The two countries became the second and third largest crypto markets in the world behind the US. The large-scale cryptos exchange Upbit, BitHum, and Bitflyer dominated the global digital asset market. So it's quite interesting when you hear articles like this. It does give me a very it paints a very nice picture in my head. Yes, we are seeing a massive downtrend. We've seen what can happen to a market when retail investors get involved. We've seen it. We've seen a massive skyrocket in price from things of that nature from happening when we see that amount of money moving in. You obviously know now more institutional investors are getting involved with it, getting backed by the SEC. There's many big changes happening within cryptocurrency. So when you think about those things happening, yes, we are seeing a dip right now. And, it's very possible that we could have, a year long, again, another year long sideways trading flatline crypto. And we may see Litecoin fall to $10, $20. It's very possible. But who's to say that investors and institutional investors are not loading up on the coin? I am almost going to guarantee you we are not going to stay at these prices forever. I do think we are going to go much higher in the long term. I think it is just a matter of time. I think consolidation is needed right now. We're correcting ourselves from the massive inflation that we've seen within crypto, and I do think we are headed for the upside very, very shortly. In the long term, so that means in a year or two, I do think we're going to start to correct and move back up, but there is plenty of money to be made in the short term. When I mean moving up to crazy levels in the long term, I'm talking about, Litecoin at $1,000. I do think it is very possible to see that in the next year to, 3 years. But in the short term, for Litecoin to go to $250, it's very likely. It is very possible. We've seen it happen in the past. It's just whether or not we're going to do that now. So that's why we do technical analysis. We try to figure that out. There is still money to be made. Now, if this coin goes from $30 to $95, that is a $65 move. Oh my God. I think my phone heard me say Siri and now it's like it's recording all my voices, but whatever. Off topic. So there is still money to be made, and we're trying to find these small micro breakouts within crypto and Litecoin and all the other exchange and all the other tokens to make profit on those, because just because we're not going to see a massive bull run does not mean that there isn't any chance and any opportunity to make money in the short term. So that's why we are on these charts. We're trying to track and figure out which, coins are good to invest in. Also, a lot of people have been favoriting Litecoin, and I do like Litecoin too. It is very popular. And it's a good coin to track because a lot of people are invested into it and they know about the community. A lot of people don't know that there is like a Litecoin community that's happening. So we are on Litecoin on its daily. You can see we're actually coming back into being more neutral on the relative strength index. We're coming out of being oversold, retesting actually the top of that resistance right there. You can see where we've double bottomed here in the past. You can see it's going to act as a small resistance there. So we could stay at this price. I do think, once again, in the long term, we are going to move back up. I don't think this is a permanent price at $30. I don't believe we're going to head lower. We do need to find some sort of support. If we don't hold $30, obviously we're going to break that pretty hard and we're going to fall to like $25, $20. But if we do hold support at 30, I can see definitely a move back up at least above 40 into maybe retesting the $50 mark and moving up to our high-low MMA. We are very low. The only reason we're coming and stopping right here is due to the fact that there is some sort of downtrend that we did potentially break out of on the market, and we are still battling that right now. I'm trying to mark it there. You can see where we've had resistance in the past, and we're kind of, laddering this down and taking the hill down. So we're going to see how low that goes. I do think we're going to find a support on this downtrend, and once we hit it, I do think we're going to reverse pretty hard and come back up and move to pretty nice levels. And I know a lot of you guys are waiting for that. I do think these are good buying opportunities. We have looked at XLM. For all you guys that didn't know, you can watch yesterday's video. I do think XLM is headed much, much lower, but we'll see if that, plays out with the rest of the market. As you guys can see, I wanted to show you guys Bitcoin on its daily. You could look at it on its weekly too, either or, but we have drawn some sort of descending triangle on the market, and I haven't really looked at the daily in front of you guys in quite some time. And I just, today in class, my charts, erased, and I had to load them back up. And I went onto the daily and I looked at the original lines that I had, and I was quite shocked at what I saw. When you start it from here and you draw it down where you can see where we've touched resistance numerous times, we could even move it a tiny bit more down, something like that could be possible too. You've seen where we've had these tests of resistance numerous times following our high-low MMA. I do want to delete that. Don't know why that's there. whatever. I don't think I'm going to be able to. But you've noticed that there is a descending triangle forming on here, and I could probably pull it up on the weekly to make it easier. But there is a downtrend, and you can see what happened. There was a downtrend. Yeah, this definitely makes it look a lot more clear to you guys. All right, so now you can see what I'm referring to. So there is some sort of downtrend that formed on Bitcoin. We had a weekly descending triangle, and here's the downtrend. You can see where we've had plays where we've tested this numerous times, and you can see we broke bearish from it, which I know was quite shocking to a lot of people. But now you can see what the massive triangle that we were tracing actually formed. There was a legitimate downtrend here. There was a legitimate triangle here. We just needed to figure out where the bottom of this descending triangle would be. And now you can see clearly what has happened. All the support right here, you can see us spiraling in, and then we broke bearish from that and fell. And usually when I trace these, triangles, you usually look at the mouth, the percentage, and that's what you would adjust by. So if you look at it like that, there is still more room to move lower. But what you want to take note of is on the weekly for Bitcoin, we are still mighty low. We are almost entering oversold, and we haven't entered an oversold market on the weekly in quite some time with Bitcoin, which does tell you that there's plenty of potential for this coin to start to move back up. This may be the lowest it goes. Now, you have to take note, we can go lower. We've seen us go way, way, way overbought. So it's very possible for us to go way, way, way oversold. But what I wanted to really show you guys was this wasn't unpredictable. We've been tracking this. You can see a clear descending triangle formed on Bitcoin's weekly, and you can see it breaking down. You can see the volatility slowly condensing and spiraling into a point, and there's builds a lot of pressure. You can see there was no volume here, so we were anticipating a move. Unfortunately, we were all betting that it would break bullish, and that would have, made a lot of people happy. But instead, we broke bearish. So it's not out of the blue. It's not random. You guys can see now what I was referring to, that there is a downtrend. On the weekly, it's very possible that we could enter an oversold weekly chart. I'd be very, very, very shocked if that did happen. But I do think these are very good buying opportunities. I do think personally for me, I would be buying and investing at levels this low because I don't think we're going to see it get much lower. If it does, I'd be very shocked. The next level it would potentially go to is like $3,000, and that would be extremely, extremely oversold on its weekly, and we have never seen that in the past. So there all would be very good buying opportunities. I would start to buy in now and pyramid down. So buy now, I would put a small portion in, wait till we drop a little bit lower, put a little more than what you invested the first time, go down again and put a little more in than what you invested the first time, and accumulate on your way down. And you could make a pretty good profit. If you only got in here and then we started to go up, at least you got invested in it, and only invest what you can afford to lose. Moving on to Ethereum though. Ethereum pretty much playing out how we anticipated on its daily. It is extremely oversold. We can see it has hit rock bottom. So far, it has hit $103, $102, around that $100 support level. And you can see we're currently most likely going to trade out sideways until we can retest that downtrend once again. So not much to talk about on Ethereum. We're just going to see some sideways trading, and then we could potentially see a bullish breakout upwards, or, what we've seen in the past with Bitcoin, with its descending triangle, we potentially broke down, and you can short that or buy in much lower. So we're going to see whether or not it decides to break lower or if it's going to shoot up. So that'll be interesting. Lastly, Digibyte, you guys wanted me to review this coin. There's an interesting pattern actually forming on here. Some sort of triangle, as you guys can tell. Right there where that start is, you can see where we've had numerous supports. Let me zoom this out a little bit more. Hopefully you guys are able to do this with me, and you guys are able to see what it is that I'm drawing on here. This one's a little more difficult because of where the bottom is. That's quite tough. Whether you would draw it out like that and not count this point here, or if you would start it here and move this up. I would probably do this and kind of play it by ear, and we'll see if we can break, if we're going to break below this. But it seems like it did find some sort of support. Now this is only the first and second, you know, line of support where it tested this uptrend. So we need a third point of contact before we can really, you know, say for sure that it is, or for certain that it is going to hold strong. But we are on the weekly and we are starting to move up. You know, we're retesting that high-low MMA, and we're doing that here as well. So you can see actually that there is some sort of support that it's bouncing off of for Digibyte, and it's trying to move higher. Now, be careful for whoever wants to buy into Digibyte. Yeah, you can clearly see it does have a support right here, but it is shooting up fairly high. That means it's good. There's a lot of volume coming into here, and there's a good chance it's trying to reach its high-low MMA of its green band right here. But by the time it reaches that, it may become overextended and we may enter overbought, and then it's due to pull back down and correct slightly. So do be, you know, aware of that. But otherwise, that's going to sum up the episode for today, guys. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications. I did order some more stuff for this channel. It's coming in probably the end of this week, so do stay tuned. Turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's episode. Peace.